Welcome to Infidelity Truths. Before we dive into today's gripping story, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more thrilling stories just for you. Let's begin.
They say you always remember the moment everything changes. For me, it was a Thursday night just after dinner. Olivia was at the sink rinsing dishes when she said it, like she was asking if we had milk. I want to take a solo trip. I put down my glass by yourself. Well, no. Maddie and I are going too, but I need this for me. She didn't look up, just kept scrubbing the pan. Maddie and ISA were both newly single, both in that post-breakup self-discovery phase, the kind inspired by wine and self-help podcasts. I knew exactly what kind of trip this was going to be. "What are you hoping to find over there that you can't find here?" I asked, dry in her hands. She finally faced me. "I've never done anything on my own, Richard. I went straight from my parent house into this life. I just need space to feel like myself again. We'd been married 4 years, bought a house the previous summer. I thought we were steady, dependable, maybe not exciting, but solid. It's not about partying," she added quickly, reading my expression. "It's not like that. I just need to think." I nodded slowly. "So, you need space before what? Before kids? Before you're too tied down to go bar hopping through Europe with Maddie and her yoga instructor? That's not fair." "Which part? The trip or the fact you're deciding all this without me?" She let out a breath. "I knew you'd react like this. That's why I almost didn't tell you until after I bought the tickets." That's when it hit me. This wasn't a discussion. It was a heads up, a polite warning before she did exactly what she wanted anyway. She left the following weekend. I didn't try to stop her, but I made a quiet decision of my own that night, one she wouldn't see coming. I drove her to the airport that morning, not because I wanted to, but because I didn't want to have any excuse to call me petty. She looked like she was headed to brunch instead of crossing an ocean. Linen blazer, big sunglasses, expensive suitcase. "You okay?" she asked as we pulled up to the curb. "I'm good," I said, cutting the engine. "You got your passport?" She nodded but paused. "You're being quiet." I turned to her. "You're going on vacation with 2 women who treat relationships like gym memberships, and you're asking why I'm quiet." She frowned. "This is why I needed to get away. You twist everything. Not everything's about cheating." "No," I said, "but trips like this tend to leave doors open that shouldn't be." She rolled her eyes and got out. I followed to grab her bags. She kissed me on the cheek like I was a coworker instead of her husband. "I'll text when I land." She said, "You don't have to." Her smile faltered. "This is why I needed to get away. You twist everything. Not everything's about cheating." "No," I said, "but trips like this tend to leave doors open that shouldn't be." She rolled her eyes and got out. I followed to grab her bags. She kissed me on the cheek like I was a coworker instead of her husband. "I'll text when I land." She said, "You don't have to." Her smile faltered. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means go do what you've already decided to do. Just don't pretend it's for us." She didn't respond, just walked inside. I watched her disappear through the sliding doors, then drove off without looking back. That afternoon, I started combing through our joint accounts. I didn't touch her money. I'm not that guy. But I moved my paycheck to a new bank. I canceled the fall trip we planned, had the refund go to my card, change of billing on everything with both our names. Electricity, insurance, streaming. Small things, but they mattered. We weren't separating, not yet. But I was done pretending to be a man whose wife still respected him. She wanted space to find herself. Fine. I'd be here paying attention. By the 4th day, she posted the first photo. Wine glass cafe table captioned "Loss in Lisbon, Finding Peace." Lisbon hadn't even been on their original plan. Then came Seville, Milan. Nice. The 3 of them were clearly winging it, hopping from city to city like undergrads on gap year budgets. Every photo looked curated. Plates of food, sunsets by the sea, sand between their toes, Olivia in flowing dresses and sunglasses, laughing with Maddie, or staring dramatically at some piece of art. But one picture made me pause. A group shot. The girls and 3 guys I didn't recognize. One of them had his arm around Olivia's waist. No tags, no context. Just a caption. "New friends, old souls." I stared at it for a long time. Then I opened a folder on my desktop and started saving screenshots. Call it paranoia. Call it being prepared. Either way, I was done giving the benefit of the doubt. I didn't comment, didn't like any of her posts, didn't text. She messaged me once that week. Hey, hope everything's good back home. We just got to Barcelona. It's beautiful here. I left it on read. The next day, Maddie posted a video from a beach club. Olivia was dancing barefoot, cocktail in hand. That same guy was there, shirtless, leaning in to say something in her ear. She didn't move away. I watched it twice, then saved it in the same folder. Still didn't say anything. 3 weeks later, she walked back to the door like it was any other Sunday, dropped her bags in the hallway, and grinned. God, it's good to be home. You would not believe the train situation in Italy. I was leaning against the kitchen counter, arms folded. She glanced around. You rearranged a time. She stepped closer, leaned in to kiss me. I turned slightly. She caught my cheek instead of my lips. Her smile dimmed. You mad? Number, I said. You're back. That's what matters, right? She let out a nervous laugh. Okay, I know how it looked, but it wasn't like that. We just needed a break from everything. Look like you made some new friends, I said. She hesitated. You saw the posts. I saw enough. Richard, come on. You know how those things go. People end up in group photos. It doesn't mean anything. You weren't wearing your ring. She winced. It was safer that way. We were traveling and I didn't want to draw attention. I said nothing. She crossed the room to her suitcase and began pulling out trinkets. I brought you something, she said, holding up a Vesper-shaped keychain. Remember how you always talked about going to Rome someday? I took it and placed it on the counter. Then I opened the drawer and pulled out the envelope I've been keeping there. I handed it to her. She opened it slowly. Inside was a printed email from the bank, a notice confirming our accounts were being separated. Beneath that, the paperwork showing I'd begun buying out her share of the house. Tucked in last was contact info for the moving service I'd already scheduled. Her eyes lifted wide and confused. You're kicking me out. You said you needed space, I said, my tone steady. I made sure you'd have plenty. Her voice cracked. After one trip, I took a slow sip of my coffee. After one decision, one that didn't include me. She dropped onto the couch, shaking. It wasn't supposed to be permanent. Richard, I just needed some time. Time for what? To flirt your way through Southern Europe. Pretend you were 20 again. She looked at me like I was being cruel. You're overreacting. You won't even let me explain. You had a month, I said. All I got were polished photos and vague captions. I didn't cheat. Did you come close? She didn't answer. That's said enough. You think because you didn't cross some obvious line that nothing happened? But you erased me the second you boarded that plane. You wanted freedom. Olivia, you got it. Freedom costs. Her eyes welled up. So that's it. You're just done. I didn't say anything right away. Instead, I walked to the closet, brought out the duffel bag I'd packed for her, and placed it gently by her feet. You can stay with ISO or Maddie. You've got places to go. She rose slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. This is really happening. I looked at her. I warned you. I told you not to pretend it was for us. You made your choice. Now I'm making mine. There wasn't a fight. No shouting, just a silence that settles in when something ends for good. By the end of the week, she was gone. Maddie came in her little blue car to help with the rest of Olivia's stuff. She barely looked at me when I opened the door. Just a flat, hey. Before she walked to the bedroom, Olivia didn't speak much either. She moved to the place like a guest, taking down photos, clearing drawers, leaving half-used shampoo in the shower, like she couldn't bring herself to finish the goodbye. At one point, she stopped in the doorway while I typed at the dining table. This doesn't feel real, she said. I didn't look up. It is. I thought we could fix it when I got back. You should have thought about that before you booked the trip without me. That weekend, my brother Aaron came by with his truck. No questions, just helped load up what was left and took it to storage. After he left, I wrapped myself in a blanket and sat on the balcony with a glass of whiskey. The house was quieter now, but it wasn't empty. It was mine. I wasn't angry, wasn't broken, just free. She chased freedom across the world. I found mine without ever leaving. 2 weeks passed before I heard from her again. A number I didn't know lit up my phone. I let it go. Then came the emails. Can we talk? Just once. I didn't answer. The next day, she was outside my house, arms crossed, trying to seem composed. I've been calling you. I know. I locked the door behind me. You move on that fast. I started moving the moment you said you needed space. She stood there like she was searching for the right angle. I made a mistake. I met her eyes. No. You made a choice. You just didn't like the result. I thought we were stronger than this. No, Olivia. I was strong. You were uncertain. That hit her hard. She flinched. You don't mean that. I mean every word. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small box. My wedding ring. I kept it the whole time. I didn't take it off. I didn't touch it. That ring went further than our marriage ever did. She stood there speechless. I walked past her toward my car. Is this really it? She asked, panic creeping in. I looked back. You asked for freedom. You got it. Then I got in, start the engine, and didn't look back. It's been 5 months. The house sold. We split everything that needed splitting. No court battles, just clean cuts and quiet departures. I move into a smaller place near work. 1 bedroom, simple, uncluttered. Mine. I started running again. Took a photography class on Thursdays. It's strange the little things that come back when you stop bleeding for someone who wouldn't have done the same for you. Friends still ask, are you sure you don't want to talk it out? She's in therapy. She might have changed, maybe, but I don't need to know. That's the beauty of truly letting go. I heard she started dating again. A few short flings, nothing lasting. Eventually, she sent one last message. A photo. The Vespa keychain sitting in her hand. No words. I deleted it. She doesn't know I kept mine. Not as a keepsake of her. As a reminder that love, the real kind, isn't about drama or do-overs. It's about who stays when it's hard, who resists when freedom looks tempting. She left to find herself. I stayed and found me. I'm dating again, slowly, carefully. I don't chase fireworks anymore. I look for the quiet, the steady, the ones who stay when no one's watching.